Disclaimer. All content on this channel is created strictly for educational and harm reduction purposes only. We do not promote, condone, or encourage the use of illegal substances. The discussions, demonstrations, and references to psychedelic substances are intended to raise awareness and provide accurate information from a professional, trained, and trauma-informed perspective. Do not attempt to recreate, imitate, or act upon anything shown or described in these videos. We are trained facilitators working within legal frameworks, often in countries or contexts where such practices are permitted. We are not liable for any actions taken by individuals who view or interpret this content. By watching these videos, you agree that Finally Detached and its representatives are not responsible for any harm, injury, or legal consequences resulting from your decisions. If you're interested in professional guidance, private retreats, or educational resources, please contact us directly, finallydetached.com. Stay safe, open your mind, and enjoy the show.
So what does it mean exactly to be a trauma healing practitioner? Throughout my journey of healing my own personal trauma, it was shown to me that I was being prepped to hold the space to help others heal their own. And what I mean by that is, as I took the responsibility to dive deeply into my trauma, to figure out how my mind worked, what was programmed, the thoughts that were keeping me back, the things that were keeping me what I was, and the inner feelings and dialogues of advancing to what I needed to become and what I desired to become. I had to lean into my trauma to be able to hold the space for others. I needed to get resilient with my own experiences so I could hold that strong foundation of a space for when others are going through their traumatic releases. And because I was able to go through mine, there's no fear of what they're going through. I'm able to hold that strong foundation and not take them out of that experience because I have a fear that I can't handle what may come up in them. Right? That's only a fear that would come up for someone who hasn't dealt with all of their trauma. So what it means to be a trauma healer is to be one that will step deeply and lean into their trauma, to become the very essence that they needed. I think that when it comes to trauma, it's everywhere. In every conversation, in every interaction. And we can see it from a lens of needing to heal trauma, or we can see it from the lens of becoming our trauma and transcending it. And for me, that's what it was. That was the journey, and that's what was necessary for me to become a trauma healer that holds space individually for people through profound breakthroughs. Crying, releasing, yelling, screaming. I needed to be prepped for that. I needed to go through my own intense experiences. And that's where my journey with plant medicine came into play. And my journey to retrain my mind, my body, to come out to this space. And here it is 12 years later. And the circle is closed. I went from someone who was traumatic, who was needing healing, seeking everywhere, to someone that understood that the modalities were within myself. And it wasn't just meditation, it wasn't yoga, it wasn't hypnotherapy, it wasn't just listening to affirmations, it wasn't sound healing, it wasn't crystal therapy. It was the awakening of my true self and the accepting of my story and the understanding that I can rewire my own mind and my own brain to become what I needed to become. And so that responsibility to start that journey and to walk that path was one that I consider a necessary foundation of being a trauma healing practitioner. This is different from just being a therapist or just a psychologist, because A lot of people can just go to school and get credentials for a path they never walked personally. So it takes time, it takes awareness, it takes direct experience. And we all have our own stories. And our stories is what makes us unique. And your story is your advantage. So if you step into that, if you lean into the healing of that, and understand deeply more and more, and feel those deep, intense feelings, and sit with it, and process them, and integrate them, and have patience for yourself, you'll find that there's this energetic revealing that falls upon you. You start to carry an essence of a deep and sacred space holder. And this is something that's important if you're really serious about helping others break through their own trauma and helping them figure out finally that they are the key. It's not a method, it's not any solution, it's not a course, it's us helping them identify they are the answer, they are their own healer, they're their own guide, and we're just a light post, right? We're just showing the direction through our own essence because of the work that we did. And whenever conversations come up and if they have questions, it becomes very authentic because your answers come from a place of direct experience and knowing for yourself. So you can always speak from a place of yourself. And hey, and so during the journey, what I discovered was, right? And always asking for permission to share whatever you want to share. So it takes time, it takes practice, and it's an essence that's developed. To be able to truly hold space for people that were going through deep traumatic experiences, it took me a good 3 years of intentionally processing what does it mean to hold space, how to create a sacred space, delving into the modalities that help make that stronger, sound healing, understanding frequencies and energy. It was all required. And that's why everything that we offer at Finally Detached and that I'm doing with Yi Lin, she's bringing the psychologist perspective, which is very clinical. I'm bringing the more medicine man perspective, and we're bridging that gap. And all these modalities that I speak of, which none of them were the answer, but they all connected in some way, I teach those, and I teach them from my perspective, which will help you understand and delve into some of these ideas and concepts and practices so it can become very practical for yourself, but you don't get lost in them. Because for me, none of them were the answer. The answer was within. And so we're here to open this. So cheers. Thank you for joining me on this one.